Hello everyone, delonewolf here, and as you can see I'm ice mining a little bit, and that generally means that I have like a heavier topic. And yeah, in this video I want to talk about EVE Online and the value of the time you spend in a game. So maybe before I get started I should explain what prompted these thoughts. And I'm definitely not a one game type of guy. I can't always play EVE Online, and from time to time there's another game that interests me. I start playing it for a while, and after that I come right back to EVE Online, and even now, you know, I'm playing Rift since it went free to play. I'm giving it a good go, and I am having fun playing Rift, but every evening I still log into EVE Online, just dabble a little bit in that, and I can already see the end of the fun for me in Rift and the time I spend there. And a big part of that, I think, is the value of the time you spend in a game. In EVE Online, because it's a sandbox that keeps expanding, but it's not level based as much as a game like Rift, a theme park MMO. Everything you do in EVE Online has a much better chance of retaining its value, even if you leave the game for a while. A Drake will always be a Drake, a Plex will always be a Plex, and even ISK, although there is a general inflationary trend, that's just what part of the reality of an economy in a game. Even your ISK will still remain ISK and remain somewhat valuable. Compare that to a game like Rift, where every new expansion basically wipes out 90% of all the effort you put in during your previous playtime. And I think that's one of the aspects that does start to bother me after a while. You know, I start to wonder what's the point of spending so much time in another game, where I could spend time in EVE Online, and that time will actually have value and retain its value. The scenario, I think, is you should compare leaving Rift for a year or something like that, or just for another expansion, and doing the same in EVE Online, what the impact of that will be. If in a game like Rift you decide you're done with the game for a while, and then you come back right after an expansion, as long as you have a maximum level character, and I would say maybe the fastest mount, that's something that I'm probably still going to try and get done in Rift myself, you're right back at the same level as soon as a new expansion starts, because all the raiding, all the gear grinds, even a lot of the currencies that you've grinded throughout Rift before the expansion, they all basically get wiped out of their value, and new content at a higher level completely replaces it, even from the very first quests. And that's a fun reset, I can imagine. You know, if you do decide that you've had enough of the game, you come right back into Rift after an expansion. I'm sure that reset is going to be a lot of fun. But to me personally, I'd feel pretty bad for all the effort I put in the game before this expansion. So I feel that this such a reset is quite a waste. Compare that to EVE Online. You know, if you decided to stop EVE Online for a few years and you're a little bit smart about it, I'd say put most of your liquid ISK in Plex and some good ships and stuff like that. When you come back, it will have retained all of its value. Your Plex are still worth 30 days of game time, which I think is probably the best item to ensure that you retain the value of the time you spend in EVE Online. You know, that's probably by putting everything, or as much as possible, into Plex. A lot of the rest can change in value due to changes in mechanics, nerfs by CCP or buffs by CCP. That is true, but through the Plex system you can really save the value of the time you spend in EVE Online for if you need a break, or if you decide that you want to come back after a while. So yeah, I think this aspect of EVE Online is one of the big pros It's also probably going to be one of the pros that's in general for sandboxes compared to a theme park MMO. And having spent some time now in Rift, I actually reached level 50 now, and level 60 is the maximum level. But level 50 was the first max level, and after that it's all expansion content. And the reset of everything you've done before that is really glaring. You have different currencies, a huge boost in gear, totally different region. It's so glaring that it really hit me a little bit, that the smartest way for me probably to play Rift, if I want to spend some time, because I am having fun, if I want to keep playing it, is probably just get to max level, get maybe a couple of important items like a mount that's at maximum speed, but don't bother with any of the gear grinds and stuff like that. Just get those two things done. I'm pretty sure I can get that done in like a week or two, and then wait for the next expansion. You'll be right there with everyone else that's been raiding for months and months. You do quests for a few days, and you're right there, back there with the top people, and you can then start enjoying the content. Compare that to EVE Online. There are no resets like that. The time you spend in here has value. Even this is what I'm doing right here, ice mining. This is now 2 million ISK made. That will retain its value, even if no matter how many expansions come or how long for a break I take. If I get back, that 2 million will still be 2 million, that Plex will still be a Plex, and a Drake or a Dominix will still be a Dominix. Yeah, it's definitely the players that decide the content in EVE Online, whereas in a theme park MMO like Rift, all the content is spoon-fed to you. It's created by the developers, and you're just there to roll in it, to go through it, to do the grinds if you want to. Yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons why a theme park MMO is very unlikely to last as long as EVE Online did, 10 years already, and why EVE Online actually is the only game I think that has a chance to last forever, because one of the basic principles of the sandbox, and of course one of the things both the players and the developers, CCP, has to protect at all costs, is the integrity of the sandbox and maintaining the value of the effort that people put into the game and the time that people put into the game. And if they can manage to keep that as much as possible, I mean, you can't stop inflation, I understand that, but there are ways to protect yourself from that, and as long as they respect the previous efforts of players in the game, and they don't devalue it by completely replacing aspects and parts of the game with content that would be much easier or much faster or just much better in general. I think EVE Online, that's the reason why EVE Online is still growing after 10 years, and so many of these theme parks MMOs have a certain lifespan and need to go to the free-to-play market after a while, and why people have some pride in playing EVE Online and are willing to pay a sub for EVE Online, and actually feel that that's a necessary part of the game in order to maintain the integrity and the value of all the time they spend in there. Yeah, playing Rift for a bit, you know, I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. It's a bit of mindless fun, and they've made it in such a way that it's very fluid. You can really go any way you want. You know, you want to quest solo, you can do that. You want a PvP solo, you can do that. You want to do dungeons, you want to do raids, you want to just move around the world and close Rift. There are 100 ways for you to keep leveling. You can do all of them at the same time if you want. You know, you want to do one dungeon, go do 5 quests, then do another PvP battleground. You can do that, no problem. It's a war front in Rift actually, but of course after a while you start to realize that all the time you put in there will just get reset at the next expansion and is a bit of a waste. So there's really no reason for me to push any of that playing Rift, whereas I do feel that there is still a reason to put as much time and effort as I can into EVE Online, because at least here I know that the plexes I earn will remain plexes and will remain their value, and yeah, that it's all about the player created content. I have to make my own fun in EVE Online. That's probably why it's not as popular as a theme park MMO, but setting your own goals and then achieving them, there's really no better way, I think, to enjoy a game. And yeah, it's really why I love EVE Online so much. And although I can't play it all the time, I do burn out on EVE once in a while, and then I go to something like Rift, or soon there will be the Steam sales where I'm looking forward to getting all the Skyrim DLC for cheap, and maybe some other games, and I might just dive into that for a few weeks. But EVE Online is definitely the one game I can see lasting forever, and I can see me playing for as long as EVE Online lasts. So that's really awesome, and those are basically my thoughts about the value of the time you spend in a game, and especially in EVE Online. Anyways, that's it, guys. A bit of a different video, this one, but I'll see you all next time.